Good morning. It is, let's see, I'm sitting here working. Just wanted to do a quick live. It is about 7:45. Snowy day here in Toronto. It is a little bit colder than I would have loved. Um, but the topic of the day is starting over. So, one of the challenging things that we as divorced men we are faced with or can be faced with. I was faced with it. I don't know if it's your topic, but I'm going to address it anyways, so that for those of you who are watching this who actually are starting completely from scratch, then you'll understand what I'm saying here. So after my divorce, I closed my business and I moved back to Denmark, to Europe, and I literally started from scratch. I had a little bit of saving. I didn't have much. I had enough to keep me going for a while. Had to move in with my dad. You know, going back to your parents at 30, what was I, 38 or 39 at that time? Man, talk about something that's embarrassing, right? Like, seriously embarrassing. You want to have your life kind of figured out, or you think that you have your life figured out, and then I have this experience where you go through divorce and it's just challenging, right? Like, it is challenging. And so I was struggling a lot with this notion of like, I had to start from scratch, like figuring out, what am I gonna do to make money? What am I gonna do in terms of where do I live and stuff like this? I was still like, thinking of going back to Canada, but I was tired of everything and I just needed a break. So I basically stayed in Denmark for almost a year to figure out myself, to kind of get in touch with myself again. And most of the time I was basically just crying and like journaling. Like I'm a huge fan of journaling, something that I teach all of my clients. I have some specific procedures I do with the journaling and writing and getting everything from your head to your heart to your hands, which is one of the most powerful, I would say, one of the most powerful tools that I've been using in my own journey to figure out and discover who I am as a man after divorce. But so I was living at my dad's house and trying to figure out, what am I going to do? Because I had no idea. I had no clue where to go. I had no clue of what I wanted. The only thing I actually did know was that I just didn't want to be in pain. I didn't want to wake up every morning and feel like I was a mess and that my life was just, useless and worthless, or whatever you might call it. I wanted to feel like I mattered, that I had purpose in life, that I knew what my purpose was, that I could do videos like this and give out a ton of value for people to learn from and implement in their own life. I could work with people. I had no idea about all these things at that time. I just knew that where I was at the time in terms of my life and my pain and my past with my ex, I just wanted to get rid of all of that. I wanted a different life. I wanted a new life. I wanted a better life. I wanted a life that I actually woke up every day and was happy to have, instead of waking up and having a life where I was like, I can't deal with this. And so one of the processes that I began to use is a process where I would start writing down not so much what I wanted in terms of like long term, because I was so confused about this that I didn't know. So actually what I started doing was I started writing 3 things every day that I was just grateful for. Just 3 things. And in the beginning, it was the hardest thing I could possibly do. Like, imagine that you are, you haven't worked out for a year and you've gained weight and you've got some back pain and you're not doing great with working out. And then you start working out and you really, the first, couple of months, you're like, oh, I fucking hate this. I just don't want to do it. I just, it hurts too much. We have all these thoughts in our minds that, makes us want to give up at times. And the gratitude for me was like non-existent at this point. I had zero gratitude for anything. Even the fact that I was just alive, you know, could have been something I was grateful for, but I was not. I was just hated everything. I literally hated everything. And so the first thing that I did was just like literally take my journal. I bought a journal at you know, similar to a dollar store in the US and Canada. And I would just every morning as I woke up, I was, you know, have some water, and I would just write down 3 simple things that I was grateful for. And it was just hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was hard because I didn't feel at that time I had anything to be grateful for. I had no income, I had no business, I was divorced or going through the divorce with the papers and all that in between Canada and Denmark. I was living at my dad on his couch. I didn't really feel I had much to be grateful for. So it was very hard for me. But a mentor of mine, he shared a story many years ago where he, you know, a little extreme, but the idea I understood. So I'll share it with you. So he had this idea that he would not get out of bed until he felt, not just, you know, you could recite in your mind what you're grateful for, but that's kind of mental masturbation unless you actually feel it. So his take on it was that he wouldn't get out of bed until he actually felt grateful. Right? Like, imagine that. You're going to lie in bed and you can't leave until you're grateful. And as the time progressed, as he was lying there, he noticed that he had to pee. He had to go to the washroom. And he was like, no, I'm just going to lie here until I feel gratitude. I'm going to feel it, feel it, feel it. Period. I'm not going to get out of bed, even if I have to pee in bed. So he was lying there and, you know, 1 hour, 2 hours, and he was like, oh my God, I really have to pee now. I really have to pee. And then there was a moment in that process where he was like, he felt grateful for just breathing and being alive. And then he was like, okay, this is enough, right? This is enough. I gotta pee. Bam! He ran into the washroom and he peed. And in that moment where he was peeing, he actually felt the most euphoric gratitude he had ever felt in his entire life. Right? So what's the purpose and the intention of me sharing this? Is that for the longest time as I was lying or writing this list, it was literally just a list. I didn't feel anything. There was zero positive emotion attached to this. It was just like an exercise. But after maybe a month or 2, I found one thing that I was grateful for. One thing. So my invitation for you today is to start this practice and implement it in your life. If you're brand new to this, if you're just going through your divorce and you're in the pit of your pain, I invite you to just pick one thing and practice feeling the gratitude. And I understand that right now that might not be what you feel like, it might not be what you can do, but still I invite you to give it a try, give it a shot. You know, you have nothing to lose by doing it and everything to gain by doing it. The interesting part of when you start showing more gratitude in your life is that, you know, God, universe, whatever you call it, starts sending you more things to actually be grateful for. And that's the irony that or the magic or whatever you might call it, that I could never wrap my head around. I could never understand logically how it's possible that when I am ungrateful for things in my life, I have less. And yet when I am grateful for the things that I do have, I have an abundance of things. But it's hard when you're in scarcity to see that you're actually surrounded by abundance. The best place to go to see that is nature. Nature is full of abundance. There's no scarcity in nature. We believe that we live in scarcity. And most of the time it's because of what we think and what we feel. What we believe about our life and the world that we are living in. So, that's all I got for you today. So I invite you to do this. Give it a minimum of 90 days. Pick, I would say 3 things, but if that's too hard, pick one thing. And just feel, like really embody the gratitude in your body. It can't just be a mental exercise. In the beginning it will be. over time, as you become better and better and better at it, and you're consistent in applying it, you'll start feeling more gratitude. And I will promise you that your life will start to change in ways you cannot imagine at this point. I had no idea where my life would take me at that time. Had I not started this very, very simple process, I don't think I would be where I am today. Because the gratitude fueled me to get to where I am today. It fueled me to start looking for my purpose and mission in life. But I couldn't do that because I was so lost. So the gratitude helped me to find some form of clarity, some form of courage to move forward. So that's all I got for you today. Have a blessed day.